All right, so today we are reading Krina. The title may seem strange, but it is the name of the place where Sunjata is going to battle the Sorcerer King. All right, so we're going to try to get through this quickly, and I'm going to cue you when it is time to answer a question. You have this exact PDF on your classroom if you would rather just read there. Otherwise, here we go. All right, so Sunjata has already fought the Sorcerer King's son and defeated him, and he fought the Sorcerer King. Now remember, he couldn't figure out how to defeat the Sorcerer King, so he was pretty depressed about that, and now it's time for the rematch. So before they go to war, they have to declare war on each other because they haven't really declared war, they've just been kind of fighting. Now, once again, this is the map we looked at the start of class today. This battle is taking place right here in Krina. See, that's why this section is called Krina. And then this section will end here and then go here. So we're in this sort of center area of Mali. Sunjata's home is down here. All right, so the section begins. Sunjata and the sorcerer have to declare war on each other. Now, the sorcerer decides instead of sending people to tell Sunjata he's officially declaring war, he's going to send an owl because he wants to see if Sunjata is as powerful a sorcerer as he is. So for number 20, Sumaro and Sunjata communicate with each other with owls. Okay, he committed the words to one of his owls. And they do a back and forth of insults. It starts with basically the sorcerer saying, hey, stop. I'm the king. You go away. And Sunjata then responding, no, this is my kingdom. You need to leave. And then it gets strange with the Sorcerer King saying, well, I'm the yams that grow under the rocks. You can't make me leave. And Sunjata says, well, he will eat the yams. Then the Sorcerer King says he's a poisonous mushroom and Sunjata will throw up. Sunjata says nothing makes him throw up. Then they go back and forth. One's fire, one's rain. One's a tree, one's a vine. Until finally they're like, okay, well, we're just going to fight. So the story says, after the war of words, swords must decide the issue. So now it is time to fight. So Sunjata has set up camp. It's the day before the battle, and a man approaches his camp. This man's name is Fakoli. So we are now at number 21. Who is Fakoli Karomo, and why does he join Sunjata? So Fakoli approaches Sunjata and says, I am Sumaro's nephew, but I am on your side because my nephew stole my wife. Sorry, my uncle stole my wife, and I want to fight him just like you do. So Sunjata now has the army of the sorcerer's nephew. So he has an additional army working with him, and this man Fakoli is going to be around for the rest of the chapter. All right, so now it's the night before the battle. And Sunjata's griot is back with him. Remember, his name is Bala Fasiki. And Bala is back, and he tells Sunjata the history of the 16 kings of Mali. So he tells Sunjata about the 16 kings who came before him. And he says he's doing this. He says, listen to what your ancestors did so that you will know what you have to do. So this is essentially like a coach before a game or at halftime giving the team a pep talk. Bala is doing the same thing for Sunjata. And the text explicitly says, in this way, Bala Faseke reminded Sunjata of the history of Mali so that in the morning he would show himself worthy of his ancestors. So the morning arrives, it's time to fight. This is a big deal, but we have to remember in the last section, Sunjata was unable to kill the Sorcerer King because he was invulnerable to weapons and he could appear and disappear. Well, this is where a sort of new old character comes back in. So Sunjata's half-sister, Nana Traban, she was married to the Sorcerer King for a while, and she has told Sunjata the secret to his power. So Sunjata's brother comes in and says, is your bow ready? This is number 23. And Sunjata unhooks his bow from the wall along with the deadly arrow. So the arrow is not made out of iron this time, but it's made out of wood, and the tip is the spur of a white rooster. That is because this white rooster spur is the only thing that can defeat the sorcerer. So Sunjata couldn't hurt him with normal weapons. Now he has to hurt him. The only thing that can take away his power is the rooster spur. So that is what is on the end of his arrow. All right, so it's time for battle. His sister warns him that the sorcerer will try to avoid him, but they go out, they're ready to fight. So Sunjata is searching everywhere for the sorcerer. He can't find him because he's hiding from him until finally someone sights him and yells to Sunjata, "Come get him, he's over here." So Sunjata is chasing him in battle, chasing him. He's killing everyone on all sides. And then finally, he sees the king of Soso, the sorcerer. Sunjata follows him with his eyes. He stops and bends the bow. The arrow flew and grazed Sumaro on the shoulder. All right, so he has a special arrow. He shoots at him, but it just grazes him on the shoulder, just barely touches his shoulder. Now, that's not going to kill him, but is that enough to take away his power? Well, that leads us to number 24. What is the significance of the black bird? So, the arrow grazes Sumaro on the shoulder. The rooster's spur no more than scratched him, but the effect was immediate, and Sumaro felt his powers leave him. His eyes met Sunjata's. Now trembling like a man in the grip of a fever, the vanquished Sumaro looked up toward the sun. A great black bird flew over the fray, and he understood. It was the bird of misfortune. The bird of Krina, he muttered. So then the sorcerer king lets out a great cry and turns and runs. The rest of the Sosos see their king running, and they try to flee, but Sunjata has all these armies with him now. So basically, Sunjata's men are just killing and destroying the sorcerer's men. The sorcerer has run off. So the black bird was his omen that his powers were gone. So now he's just a man and he's running. So Sunjata takes off after him. They're both on horse. Sunjata spends the good part of a day tracking him until it is almost nightfall. The sun is setting, and he sees the sorcerer king in the distance with his horse going up a mountain. And that is the mountain we put on our map. Now, when the sorcerer king sees Sunjata following him, he jumps off his horse and he starts just climbing up the mountain. So Sunjata is chasing this old king up the mountain. He gets to the top and they're chasing each other back down. So now the sun has disappeared completely. For the second time, the king of Soso has escaped from Jada. Okay, so this is going to be number 25, and it's going to explain why. So they've been chasing each other all day. The sorcerer king has gone up the mountain, and now he's coming down the mountain. Having reached the summit of Kulakoru, Sumaro hurried down the slope, followed by Jada. To the right, he saw the gaping cave of Kulakoru, and without hesitation, he entered the black cavern. Sunjata stopped in front of the cave. At this moment, Fakoli, who had tied the hands of Soso Bala, his cousin, he arrived. Sunjata said, "There, he has gone into the cave." And Fakoli points out that the cave is connected to the river. But either way, the sorcerer is never seen again. Now, in the children's book version of the story that we looked at in class, the sorcerer becomes the cave. But either way, the sorcerer has disappeared into the cave and we will never see him again. But Sunjata wants to make sure that he can never regain his power. So Sunjata goes to his kingdom of Soso, and he has his griot lead him to the sorcerer king's magic chamber. Now that is number 26. How does Bala Faseke know that Sumaro's power is gone? So when they open the door to the chamber, we have to remember that inside this chamber, the sorcerer had all kinds of animals, and he had 9 heads. He had the 9 heads of kings that were in there and that he could talk to. So now when Bala Faseke opens the door, it was found to have changed. Everything is dead. So the heads that had been in there, they're now just withered dead heads. There's a snake that's dying. The owls are dying. Everything in the magic chamber is dead. And so that tells us that the sorcerer's power is gone. So Sunjata and his griot take everything they think is important, and then they burn the city to the ground. And they destroy this city so completely that the text says Yes, Soso was razed to the ground. It has disappeared, the proud city of Sumaro. A ghastly wilderness extends over the places where kings came and humbled themselves before the sorcerer king. All traces of the houses have vanished, and of Sumaro's 7-story palace, there remains nothing more. All right, so Sunjata has completely erased the Sorcerer King's kingdom from the earth, and now there's only one thing left for Sunjata to do. He has established himself as king, and now he needs to return home. And that is what we will read about next class. And that is the end of this video.